Are you prepared to transform your well-being? I'm Sanjay Raja, and my mission is to challenge our perspectives on food, fitness, and overall health. I own a successful nutrition and fitness business based in Orlando, Florida. And through this experience, I've learned that there's no one-size-fits-all solution. From creating delicious and healthy recipes, to training elite athletes, and even writing the book, The Food Talk. I've accumulated a wealth of knowledge, but here's the exciting part. There's always more to discover. That's why I'm embarking on a journey to connect with leading experts, unveiling the secrets to a happier, healthier life. Together, let's explore innovative ways to enhance our well-being. This is Recipe for Wellness. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of our podcast, Recipe for Wellness. So we are in season 4. This is podcast episode number 2 of season 4. And much like the TV show, which we're in production for season 3, we're going bigger, we're going bolder. And I'm really excited about this next guest because I'll give you a little background. My kids and I, I'm with my kids every other week. So I get them 7 days a week. They go back to their mom, come back to me. And when they come to me, they're like, "Dad, you're such a boring eater because all you do is you eat the same food." I eat my big breakfast in the morning. And what really gets them is that I have nothing in the house but water. That's all I drink all day. Maybe 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That's it. No fruit juice, no soda, nothing. So they're like, "You are just the most boring person when it comes to this." I said, "I'm sorry, but I just know how I'm going to feel. I feel good, hydrated, look younger, feel better, all those good things." So this is the reason why this is so important, because water is something we interact with in one shape or another every single day. It affects our life. Our body is mostly water. All the beverages, the base is water for the most part. And my kids, I've instilled a love for water in them. So all of us have a water bottle. Everywhere we go, we take the water bottle with us. And so I had the pleasure, everybody in the audience, being reached out to by a who's your media guy? Ron, right?
Ron, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ron's the media specialist, and he reached out to us about his client. So I'm going to bring our client onto the show, which is he is the CEO of RKIN Water Systems based out of Fort Myers, Florida, and his name is Eric Kurbanov. So Eric, you and I have talked offline a number of times. I am really, really, really excited about this opportunity to speak with you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Sanjay. It's an honor.
Yes, so I always believe that life is about opportunities and synchronicities. And guess what? We were looking for somebody to talk to about where our water comes from. And then Ron reached out to us and said, "Hey, we'd love to get Eric on your show." And I said, "That's a no-brainer. We got to get Eric on the show." And it's perfect timing, right? It's meant to be, which is great. So for those in the audience who don't know your company and you, share a little bit about background about who you are, where you came from, and what prompted you to start this amazing company, because water is everywhere. We interact with it every single day. And, one of the most asked questions we get on the show is, what bottled water should I be drinking? And 2, if I'm not drinking bottled water, where should I invest my money in terms of water purification? Because there's so much misinformation. So we are excited to have you on. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start this amazing company.
Yes, thank you so much for once again for having me on, and amazing introduction. I greatly appreciate it. So my name is Eric Kurbanov, just like you have introduced me, and I have started RKIN Water Systems, which was under a different name at that time. It was in 2009, and that was also the same year when my first son was born. Great times. New business, new baby, and everything that comes with it. So there's a little bit of background story as why this company kind of was born. So I was 18, 19 years old, came to Fort Myers, Florida after dropping out from college. and
Hmm.
started working. And at that time, I was working at a, a local quarry where we're digging earth and
Hmm.
sand and ground and stone and et cetera for all the local building that was happening at that time. So, and my dream was to buy a house. And
Mm.
I've spoken to a lot of people, real estate agents. I didn't know anything better at the time. No, maybe I don't know any better now. But I went around and was talking to all these different people, and a lot of them told me, no, you're probably not gonna get a mortgage. What are you doing? And et cetera, et cetera. Finally, um, before I even was 20, found this builder, and they were expanding in Lee County here and building these homes. And they're like, all right, if you want to, we'll be more than happy to sell your house.
Hmm.
And but you got to come up with $10,000 down payment,
Yeah.
qualify for mortgage. And this was, mind you, like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
So I was about to
right.
say $10,000 is a steal
Yeah.
right now, by the way. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. So and working, I'm like, man, we don't have that money. I don't have that money. What I'm gonna do? I only got like 12 months before we buy this house, and I got a second job. Kind of got very tight and did not spend my money. Make a
Hmm.
long story short, end up buying this home before even I was 21. So we move in, and this house was kind of outside of the main city. It had its own well, and
Hmm.
it also had this amazing water system under the sink that we used every day. And all of a sudden, I was no longer buying bottled water, and the water tastes great. And we were really happy. So, a couple years down the road, I ended up selling that home, and I thought we were moving up in life, right? So we bought a home in the city, and we move in, and all of a sudden I find myself buying bottled water again. I'm like, well, this
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense. This is just doesn't feel right. What's going on here? And then you know, finally hit me like, hey, we had this water system there. We don't have one here. The builder didn't put it in. I
Yeah.
might have to find one myself. So I started looking around, did a little bit more research, figured out what it was. It was a reverse osmosis system, and was looking around to get one. So naturally, what would anybody do? They would just, call the local water treatment companies. And at that time, the quotes I've been getting for installation were like $900, $1,200. And my mind just exploded. I'm like, man, I can't afford that. You
So that
know,
was a whole home water treatment, right?
no, no, no. It was just the under sink water system.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Wasn't even a whole home. Yeah, it was just a drinking water system for
Yeah.
drinking water that would be in the kitchen, not even
Okay.
whole home setup.
Got it.
So my mind blown at that time, like, man, I can't afford that type of money. So I started looking around and I couldn't find it anywhere. And at that time the internet was around. However, it,
Hmm.
it wasn't like I didn't know what I was looking for or how to find it, and just couldn't find it. And one day, I thought I really moved up in life, and had got me a membership in Costco.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm walking around the Costco, just strolling around on the weekend, and I see a box, and on a box, it had a picture of a water system that I recognized. I'm like, hey, this is exactly what I need. So I bought it from Costco. It was probably around 200 some dollars. Installed it in my own kitchen. It took me a little bit to figure out how to do it all, but it got it in. We started using it, and I absolutely loved it. I'm like, well, if I like it that much, and maybe my friends and my teammates at work where I was working at the time, maybe they would like it. So I started talking to all of them, and all of them end up buying one, and they had me install it in their home. And
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, maybe there's something to this. And here we are, 20 years later, with RKIN water systems. So that's
You
kind of
know,
short
so
intro.
No, that's it's the story sounds so like simple, but of all the podcasts we've done, right? We've done 4 seasons of this, met so many interesting people. Inspiration, you never know where it comes from, right? You see a problem that affects you personally, and then you're like, you know what? It affects a lot of people. So I want to fix this right now. And that's where some of the best ideas on the planet come from, right? So that's amazing, by the way. And I love that story on so many levels. But that being said, what is it about right now? So let's kind of really get into this, which is where does most of our drinking water come from?
That's an awesome and great question. So throughout the country, United States is huge geographically, and with that,
Hmm.
there are different sources of water that's being used by municipalities. There's
Okay.
groundwater, where the wells are drilled into the ground and then water is taken out. There's
Yeah.
also surface water, like lakes and rivers. So those are the two main sources. And depending on the geographical area, the quality will also vary highly as well.
Okay. So when we think about our backyard, which is Florida, you're in Fort Myers, I'm based out of Orlando. You know, when you started your company, what was kind of the sentiment from the community that you've been in Fort Myers now for a little while? Was it that you guys are filling this huge gap where you were really needed? Or was it, oh, this is just kind of something that is optional? Having your water treated, having nice water, great, wonderful. I could buy bottled water. What was the sentiment of the community? Was it, oh my God, you guys are doing something that was so needed for so many years? Or was it, this is a luxury item?
That's a great question because when this company was started, it was right in the middle or the beginning of the great economic downturn in 2009.
Yeah.
So those were really tough times locally, especially in Florida as well. So it was a hard conversation to have with people because
Hmm.
at that time everybody was just trying to make their ends meet,
Yeah.
and the so even now when the times are a little bit better comparing to that time,
Mhm.
or probably quite a bit better economically, we meet a lot of like I talk to a lot of people. I have a lot of friends here locally as well that kind of just default to bottled water, and
Yeah.
the having a water system or thinking that the water system can provide them with better quality water, it doesn't even like exist in the same headspace. There's
That's
no
the power of
comprehension
marketing.
for it.
Power of marketing, right? You get inundated with bottled water commercials all the time. Like I don't want to piss anybody off, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's fine. Right? But I see Fairlife water everywhere. Costco, places like that. That's by the Nestle company, and that company has been sued so many times because they're taking up all the fresh water in California because they feel like they have a right to the land lease. It's a whole thing we did a research into, but it's unfair practices. Let's just put it bottom line, unfair practices. So this is the big question because before you came on the show, we always do a poll of our audience and we try to get some feedback as what's the most important questions, right? And the number one most important question in anticipation of this interview is if I'm going to buy bottled water, what should I be looking for?
That's a great question. So there are a few things that come to mind right away. Let's say bottled water has its own place in our life, right? Let's say we travel. Let's say
Hmm.
you run out of water. Let's say
Yeah,
you need to drink something now, and the only
exactly.
option is the gas station that you're going to pull
Yep.
into within the next 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
the bottled water has its own place. However, when you look at a substitution as a main hydration source, it's probably not the smartest choice. But when you have to get one, here's what I would look for. usually on the labels, it would say purified by reverse osmosis. So
Hmm.
that's what I would go for, number one. And number two, if you can find something in glass container,
Yes.
opt
Yes.
for that. You have mentioned something about Europe switching over to the glass containers and et
Yeah.
cetera, in our last conversation.
Hmm.
Um, I'm also a big fan of PBS production studios and different channels on the YouTube. And I
Yeah.
believe like a SciShow recently, maybe within the last a month or so, have made an episode exactly on that topic.
There you
And
go.
what they found is the even the glass bottles will have microplastics in it. So the
Really?
scientists like, where is it coming from? It's
Yeah.
glass bottle. What's going on
Yeah.
here? So I think comparing glass bottle, comparing to a plastic bottle, you do get the benefit of less BPA leaching into it because it's not a glass
Mhm.
container, right? But the microplastics are still present. And the source of the microplastics is not the bottle itself, but it's the cap.
Oh, there
So
you
there
go.
is a liner
Yeah.
inside, and also the way that they manufacture, transported, packaged, and et cetera, microplastics still do sneak in. And in some cases, they even found more microplastics in a glass bottle versus plastic bottle, which is quite ironic. So,
It's like we always talk about this, and that is everything is out there to kill you at a certain level, right? Everything's out there to kill you. Bread's going to kill you. This is going to kill you. It's like pick your poison at this point already, right? Um, but that being said, it's interesting we're having this conversation because season one of our show, we were talking to a water company based in Hawaii that uses only paper.
wow.
You may be familiar with them. I forgot their name. It was so long ago now for us. But we wanted to go out there and show their facility, the manufacturing plant, to show, hey, maybe paper's the way to go versus plastic bottles, right? What are your thoughts on? I know you mentioned the cap. I just got educated, by the way. Boom, right? Never thought of this before. I'm sure the audience will get the same reaction. But what's your thoughts on paper bottles or paper containers for water?
I have not come across it in detail to be able
Hmm.
to give a very educated opinion on that. However, immediately what comes to mind is in order to make the paper waterproof,
Hmm.
you have to use something.
It
Paper
has to
is
have a
not
lining. It has to have a
correct.
lining in there. Yeah.
Correct. Did they mention what type of lining it was?
I don't remember. Yeah, we were
Okay.
early talks, but I would have to do more research on that. But that's another thing I've seen as well. What
Mm-hmm.
about this new trend I've seen? It's across Asia right now. It's cost effective. They use seaweed, alginate as a ball, and the water's in there. You just drop the ball in your mouth and it dissolves in your mouth. It's completely biodegradable in your body, kind of.
Sounds like a dream to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing that across Southeast Asia as a cheap alternative versus all the packaging. So it's a water ball made from algae, and it's
Right.
clear, and your body can absorb it. No issues there whatsoever. But seeing it here in the States, that's a whole nother story. So we've talked about, if it's a must situation, water,
Mhm.
bottled water, which one should you get? Love the information because I didn't even realize that with the cap of glass bottles. So let's come to the crux of this conversation, which is when I was living, when I was married at the time, we had a big house at the time, and it's like 5,000 square feet. Kids could run around this thing, and we thought about getting a water softening system. We were told to do that. We never ended up doing it. Okay, so first delineate for us what's the difference between a water softening system and a water whole home purification system. Are they the same thing or are they different?
That's an awesome question. We do get that question a lot as well from our customers, and I believe the listeners will
Hmm.
benefit from that. So the when it comes down to whole home filtration, there's kind of two separate jobs that need to be done. One of them is filtration. And when we
Hmm.
talk about filtration, we talk about taking out bad stuff that could be in the water or it's not beneficial for us. So there
Yeah.
would be chlorine, if you're on municipal supply, chlorine, chloramines, other disinfection byproducts. You're talking about forever chemicals, the
Yeah.
PFAS, and et cetera, et cetera. And that would be the job for a water filter on a whole home scale.
Okay.
Now, the second job, the second part of it is a water softener, which does only one specific job and it's meant to do. What that is protecting plumbing from hardness buildup.
Got it.
And once you
Calcium,
remove,
all that. Yeah.
that's correct. Yes. And ironically, it's calcium and magnesium. And
Oh, okay.
that's what builds up on the plumbing. And you see those rocks growing on the faucets and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
hardness, calcium and magnesium. And so the water softener, the way it works is it would remove the hardness minerals from the water and exchange them with salt because water has to stay in balance. Once you
Right.
take something out, it wants something back in return. And
Right.
that happens with the salt. So that's why most of the water softeners, they require salt to be added to them periodically. So those are two distinct jobs for whole
Hmm.
home water treatment. And there are also other benefits to have soft water. So once you remove the hardness out of the water, now the water is considered soft. Beyond just protecting your plumbing and fixtures, other benefits include, for example, you're going to use a lot less soap for the same amount of cleaning benefit and
Mm.
shampoos as well. And the
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
being is because the way that calcium and magnesium reacts with the soaps and shampoos and the one clear indicator is if you have baths, um, you'll have that ring around with the
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah.
So that's an indicator that you have hard water, and the hardness binds with soap, takes it out of the equation, and then it becomes that soap scum, and it ends up staying on the bath. So
Wow.
that's the second one. So you will cut down quite a bit on soap usage, shampoo, detergents, and et cetera, et cetera. So it has benefits beyond than just protecting plumbing and water-bearing appliances. So to answer your question, the water filtration is two separate things. One is water softening or protection against hard water. And the second one is filtering the water for health benefits when we take out the contaminants.
So you've been in this business for quite some time now, very successful. So when people now, right now, the housing economy is not so good, but it's going to come back as everything does. When somebody's buying a new home, what's your recommendation? Because there's so many expenses with a home in general, as you know. Would you recommend a water filtration or softening system or both in one unit when buying a new home? And moreover, I'm sure you guys have seen the calculations. Does it save money over time?
Yes, that's also an awesome question. So when it comes down to water treatment on a whole home scale, you don't have to do both at the same time. You
Okay.
can either do filtration or you can do water softening. Let's say you are in an area where the water is not that hard, and there's still some areas like that in the country where the water generally is not too bad. Fort
Okay.
Myers, Florida, used to be in that category. The water
Right.
used to be not very hard. So, but now, as the population has exploded, the water hardness is climbing up and going into a hard water territory to where it's starting to make sense to get a water softener with a filter.
Mm.
So, with that in mind, most of the time, what happens is even let's say if the water is moderately hard and you're thinking about getting a water system, the cost to install a water system, whether it's only a water filter or water softener, usually there's a negligible difference between the two.
Hmm.
So the only cost differentiator becomes is the extra equipment, because installation, unless you can do it yourself, it can be quite challenging in certain homes. So what I would recommend for the homeowners, for the new homeowners, number one is to figure out what they are dealing with when it comes down to water. Don't just blindly jump in and say, hey, I just want a water system. Tell me the best one you have. I want to get that, because you may not
Hmm.
even need it. In other
Exactly.
cases, people may assume that, hey, this water looks clear, it tastes okay, I don't even need anything. But you pull up a water report and you look at all the stuff that's in it, and you're like, no, you definitely want to get something. So
Yeah.
it's just like being a doctor. You first want to know and diagnose the problem, and then find a solution to that problem, instead of
So would
picking a
it make
solution and then trying to fit the
yeah.
problem to it.
Yeah, so would it make sense? And so walk us through this, because I never thought of this, but now that I'm doing some background research before bringing you on, can you call your local municipality and get a report on the water? Would they provide that so you know what system to get and what makes the most sense?
Yes, I believe they even obligated to do that by law. They
Okay.
do. They should supply annual reports, and it's called a water treatment confidence report. And
Okay.
there are certain things that they have to test for and disclose in that report. Now, right now, there is quite um, a little bit of uncertainty when it's related to forever chemicals. So
Yeah.
some municipalities may test for it or may not test for it. So it's but in general, the water confidence report from your municipality will give you a very good understanding of the water quality in your area.
I found something really interesting was Florida is the only state in the country that in certain parts has rocket fuel in their water, right? Yeah, it's like, and the allowable amount is like 1 part per million or some nonsense like that. But because obviously we launched rockets from Cape Canaveral and all that stuff, but it's the only state in the union that's actually they found rocket fuel in our water source, which is crazy, right? So, what's allowable, what's not allowable, it's insane what we've come to realize that they allow certain amounts of this when you would think that shouldn't be in our system, period. Hard stop. So that's why I think this conversation is so important, because we are attacked by so many chemicals on a daily basis we interact with, from our food to our drink. So I always tell people, I said, control what you can control. Everything else is out of your control. You can control what you eat, what you drink, sleep, work, all that good stuff. So that being said, if you can control your water supply at a certain level in your home, make that change, because we interact with it on a daily basis. We don't realize how reliant we are on it. We buy bottled water here and there, but perfect example, I was driving back from the gym this morning, and a friend of mine who lives out in Boca, she her and I were talking. She's like, "Oh, I was taking a shower. My water got shut off all of a sudden because something went wrong." It's like the minutes taken away from us, then we realize how important it is. A hot shower to a glass of water. It's crazy. We just take it for granted. So I I had a pure water jug. You and I have talked about this offline as my little way to basically have clean water to put in our water bottles. It tasted fine, it tasted good, not a problem. You guys were kind enough to donate your top of the line water system that fits on our counter. We set it up. We've been running for the last few days. And I have to be honest with you, I noticed a big difference in the taste. It tasted almost like had like a sweetness to it, because I just drink water 99% of the day versus just one cup of coffee in the morning. And it made a difference, because the big thing with kids, my first book was on children's nutrition and fitness. Most kids don't like to drink water. They find it very boring, but my kids have trained them to drink water all throughout the day, and they're going to love this thing when they come back. So It's got all the bells and whistles and all that, so it's very cool. It's Wi-Fi connected. I was like, who knew? You're gonna connect a water system to your Wi-Fi now, which is crazy. But I love it. So thank you for that because we really wanted to test it out and see where we could go with this. So then here's kind of the next question, which is you've been in this game now for a very long time. What do you see right now as the challenges within this country in general with our water system? And what questions should we be asking as consumers on a local level that consume at a local, well or whatever, to make sure that we're getting the best quality water?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. And I may say something a little bit controversial here.
Please, I do it all the
Yeah,
time. I do it all the
yeah. So,
time.
and um, when we think about water coming into the house, over 90% of it is what we call working water, which
Okay.
means it doesn't get consumed. So wash dishes, you
Yeah.
flush toilets, take showers,
Hmm.
wash your clothes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 90% of the water doesn't get consumed. So now you think about the volume, millions of gallons of water that needs to be produced, right? And
Yeah.
that's being supplied, and 90% of it doesn't get consumed. So thinking about that and having different contaminants in the water that may or may not be easy to be treated on that
Hmm.
huge volume of water that needs to be produced. Um, in my opinion, and just knowing what it takes to get the water quality to where people deserve and enjoy, it may not be possible to do it on that huge scale because
Yeah.
some of this stuff is very, very hard to filter out. So
Yeah.
one of the questions we get, like, what should I do? Should I get a whole house filter or a drinking water system?
Right.
The question answer that we give, the answer to the question, always get a drinking water system first. Why?
Yeah.
Because what you consume is way more important than, 90% of the water that's going to be used throughout the entire home that you're not even going to, drink or cook with, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So then a question is like, well, why don't the whole home water systems give you the same quality as you would get from an under sink or countertop dedicated drinking water system? Most of the time, no. And
Mm.
again, the reason being is because that huge amount of volume of the water that goes through the house doesn't have to be that purest quality that you drink and consume and cook with, that you would get from something like reverse osmosis system.
Yeah.
So looking at it from that side, you know, um, I'm all for holding the government accountable or the municipalities accountable and pushing them towards giving us the best quality water that's possible. We
Hmm.
also have to look at like unit economics, right? Let's say we do purify it. How much would that cost per gallon? Would
Yeah.
people be able to afford it? Would you be okay with, flushing your toilets with perfectly purified water?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Exactly.
so there has to be a balance. And of course, we don't want to provide water if we can avoid it at all costs, like, the rocket fuel. Yeah, we don't want that in water for sure.
Hmm.
However, we have to look at reality, what we're dealing with and what's possible with
Yeah.
our current like technological state, right? So in Florida, there's a this is a small fact. A lot of people don't know, but actually in Florida, quite a few water systems that use reverse osmosis, which is the best way to purify water.
Okay.
And the reason being is because a lot of water sources, a lot of wells are becoming highly, highly salty with a Gulf
Mm.
intrusion and a salty water coming in. So they have to go into reverse osmosis. And how's that affecting your water bill? that remains to be seen. As more and more and more we go into it, you are getting a lot better quality water. But how much room is there for that economically to be absorbed by the municipalities?
Yeah, so then you think about this question, which is, I know so many people, and I was one of them for the longest time, spend so much money on buying bottled water all the time. So it adds up because you use it every single day, drinking whatever it may be, and you buy the cheapest brand at like Costco or something like that. Now you're getting lower quality water, you're paying for it, and so it's this weird thing we do, which is, okay, I need this thing, I need bottled water, but I need it at scale. So that means I'm going to pay for the cheapest one, and that quality may be horrible, right?
That's correct.
So it's weird how we do this economics in our head. So what have you seen from all the systems you guys installed, consulted with, and that is there a cost savings over time versus buying bottled water all the time? Versus, so let's just take one example, which is the tabletop unit, right?
Mhm.
Put it on the counter and just keep filling your water bottle, and you could use it for cooking, coffee, whatever you want to use it for. And you guys have a number of different models there. But that being said, are your customers seeing the cost benefit versus getting bottled water all the time?
Oh yeah, 89% savings.
Nice. Yeah.
So for every $1.50 that you spend on bottled water,
Uh-huh.
you would be saving, I'm trying to do a quick math, like $1.30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dollar 34. And I'm just looking over here because
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at it here. And yeah, it's 16 cents per gallon for a water system like a countertop or under sink, which is $300 to $400 range, with
Yeah.
all the filters included over 5 years, 16 cents per gallon. And you're
Wow.
getting the best possible water that's probably even better quality than what you get from a plastic water bottle.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
without worrying, have to worry about all the parabens and all this nonsense. But another thing that in doing our research for this episode we found is the prevalence of what's called xenoestrogens. So what happens is, well, plastic bottles that get heated up in your car, for example, and then you drink it, they actually have an effect of creating a xenoestrogen, which affects your body, which can reduce testosterone levels. It's crazy. It's crazy what we take for granted every single day. Like anytime I need some water, anytime I forget my water bottle, that's when I need it the most, right? So, and then I'm like, oh my God, I got this hot water bottle. Do I take the risk? But I'm really thirsty, but do I take the risk? Right? Yeah. So we make that calculation all the time, which I find hilarious. So this comes up to this question now that I have, which is you guys have been in this business now for how many years?
since 2009.
2009.
So yeah, so that makes it, I'm bad at math, especially doing it live.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
So that being so 17 years roughly.
17.
So you've been in
Mhm.
business for 17 years, which is great, great track record. Um, my job, I say to my audience, is I have to sift through a lot of misinformation to get the right information out, right? So there are a lot of companies out there that do what you guys do. And I happened to stumble upon you guys because Ron reached out to us, and thank God he
Mhm.
did. I'm so happy that we got to know you, what you're doing, your mission and your purpose and your backstory is all great. So when consumer individual is looking at companies and there's a lot of slick marketing out there, right? What should they be looking for when they choose a company to get a tabletop system or under the sink or water softener, whole home system? What questions should they be asking?
That's a wonderful question as well. So the number one thing I would say anybody should be looking for when they're shopping for a water system is third-party test results and also certifications,
Mm,
something like NSF, and et cetera, et cetera. So, and another thing is how long has the company been around?
hmm
It's very hard to survive in open market like US, without being completely honest with your products. So
Hmm.
you can get by being slick for a few years, but there's a good chance you're probably not going to survive for decades, because
Yeah.
especially now with social media and et cetera, the bad word or the negative feedback travels fast. So,
Hmm.
and it's nothing to say about new companies that are coming up. It's just the longevity is one of the, I think, big indicators beyond third-party testing. You're
Okay.
going to look that up. And also like on some of our products, we even had um, other people testing our systems using third-party labs, and they have posted their results on YouTube, before and after. Nowadays, this space in water testing is becoming so great and easy to use. You can
Hmm.
order a mail order test kit
Yeah.
that will test for majority of the stuff that you can't even pronounce and that you should care about, and test it before and test it after. Will it cost you a few $100s? Most likely it will. But you have that option if you want to be absolutely sure. So, or you can take a shortcut and see what other people have done and posted their results on
Yeah.
platforms like YouTube.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So let's go into some rapid fire questions because we got a bunch of questions for you. And so I'm picking like the top five right now. So if I were at a gas station and I see all the water in front of me, which one would you pick as far as bottled water goes?
That's probably another controversial answer is um, if there is no options for water in the glass bottles, which
Yeah.
is harder and harder to find,
Hmm.
um, I would probably go with Aquafina or Aquasana, which is a Coke and
Wow.
Pepsi product.
I never thought you would say that. Honestly, the reason why is because I've seen like these testing, so-called testing, and they put Aquafina last every single time.
Yes. So I, I'm not sure which, well, there may be, there's like, again, there's different things that people are testing for. So
Yeah.
both of those brands usually are reverse osmosis purified. And it would also say on the bottom, like purified by reverse osmosis, enhanced with minerals for taste.
Yeah.
And I just like the taste, number one. And number two, I do trust reverse osmosis water. I do not trust spring water. The
Yeah.
common joke is
Yeah.
spring water comes through the spring in the faucet and they just put it in the bottom.
That's true. That's very true. I love the commercials and artesian spring in the middle of the forest out in some remote jungle, right? Yeah, great, wonderful. But we buy into it. It's the sad part of life. We do buy into it. So, okay. So that was the number one question. Number two most asked question is alkalinity, right? Now the big marketing thing is I need to get 8+ alkaline water. What are your thoughts on alkalized water?
That's another awesome question. We do get that asked that quite a bit as well. We do all our water systems, countertop drinking water systems for countertop and under sink. They do come with options and or standard with alkaline post filter. The reason why we do it is because there have been studies done where, and they're double-blind studies, where they have tested purified water and then purified water with minerals and then potentially maybe unfiltered water, right?
Hmm.
So majority of people prefer the taste of water that has some minerals in it.
Hmm.
So that's the reason why we do it. And we call it alkaline because reverse osmosis would make it acidic because you're stripping everything out of the water, including all the minerals. And when you do that, the CO2 gas gets detached from all the minerals and that in turn turns the water acidic.
Hmm.
So the CO2 gas in the water turns the water acidic. Now, when we reintroduce the mineral post filter, the water goes through it and it will pick up some of the calcium and magnesium and potentially other minerals as well from that post filter and give you that taste that majority of people love and like. So turning it back into alkaline state. Now, when it comes down to 8 plus alkalinity, and I have spoken and had conversations with a lot of doctors, there are some that do believe that alkalinity is beneficial,
Hmm.
and there are others that say, oh, maybe it doesn't matter because your belly is acidic. So
Yes,
whatever you drink, it's going to get into acidic
exactly.
environment anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of what I call alkalinity machines or the pH water machines that bring it up that high. And there's also a little bit of nuance to those machines as well. How they work is they have different plates inside. And a common marketing for them is, oh, we have titanium plates. Sounds expensive, sounds sophisticated. And we run
Fancy.
current through it. Yes, fancy, titanium, right? The most expensive metal in the world. Um,
Yeah.
so when you do that and you push the current through those plates, the
Yeah.
water will attract negatively and positively charged ions to two sides.
Right.
So you would get when you're doing alkaline side, you get all those minerals that are positively charged going into the alkalinity side. So I might have gotten my polarity there mixed up, but you get
It's okay.
yeah,
I get the
you
point.
get
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and now those machines use carbon filtration, which carbon filters are great, but they're not as good as something like reverse osmosis. Why? Because
Hmm.
reverse osmosis doesn't discriminate and it just filters out majority of the stuff, right?
Okay.
And then there's some people may say, oh, the reverse osmosis doesn't take out VOCs and some of the other stuff that may be in the water. That is correct. There's one nuance to that is modern reverse osmosis systems have carbon filters as part of the package. You almost never get just the reverse osmosis membrane on its own. It's
Hmm.
usually 3 or 4 stages, and one or two of them is going to be carbon filtration. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. So circling
Hmm.
back to those alkaline machines, you get
Yeah.
you got a carbon filter, and it will take out certain things, but not all of them. And now you're concentrating potentially contaminants on that alkaline side and drinking that.
Mm.
So
Okay.
depending on the
Yeah.
area where you at, you may have high stuff, very high amounts of certain contaminants. The carbon filter may or may not remove them. You're concentrating and drinking that. So that's my outlook. It may not be the best filtration. It's the most expensive one when it comes down to
Yeah.
drinking water, but it may not be the best way. Um,
Okay.
I I do know personally quite a few people that just swear by it.
Mm.
And what I've just shared with you, I usually do not share it with them. And I'm going to tell you why. I think what we're dealing with here is when people do see those amazing results from that
Yeah.
alkaline water, um, most likely it's the placebo effect.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah.
And I don't want
Exactly.
to ruin it for them. Like it's
I
working
know.
for you, great. Like and I'm struggling with this. Like, should I or should I not? And I so far I'm like, no, just let it go. Let the magic do its work. Maybe I change my mind later, or maybe somebody will come along and tell me, no, Eric, you got to tell them the truth. And
So the third, because we could keep talking all day, but the third most
right.
asked question is now this new trend. Hydrogen water. Okay. So the third most asked question, because you see all these influencers now going,
Mhm.
I don't drink anything but hydrogen water, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so the most obvious thing people are like, well, water's got hydrogen in it. What's the added benefit of infusing more hydrogen in it? So before we did this conversation, we did the research. The clinical data on this thing is limited, very, very limited. There is no clear cut answer if it's better or worse or increases performance. There's anecdotal evidence, but there's no clear cut study that says hydrogen water is the way to go. All right. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with you. And because it's a new technology and there is a limited research, just like you mentioned,
Hmm.
we did decide to include it into one of our units and one of our models, which you received.
Yeah.
And if there is upside, it's there.
Hmm.
If it turns out to be not very beneficial, at least it's not harmful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
I agree
what
with that.
our thinking was.
Yeah, so I'm just being fully transparent with my audience as I always am, which is we got the unit. I love the purified water. It tastes sweet, it tastes really good. So kudos to that. Amazing in that sense. I went to work out this morning and I said, I'm going to try the hydrogen water. So I turned through my trusty app, turned it on, and this morning got the hydrogen water, went to go work out. I got to be honest, it didn't taste good. I didn't like it. It's completely different taste. So I go off a taste of water more than anything because I know I'm going to get the benefit of it no matter what.
Mhm.
And since there's no clear cut science or anything behind hydrogen water, guess what? I'd rather it tastes good. I know I'm going to get versus maybe hoping for a slight performance gain. So I just turned it off. But it's good to know that you have it there anytime because if you've seen what's out there right now,
Mhm.
you buy hydrogen tabs to add in your water now, which is like ridiculous amount of money you're going to pay. It's just dumb, right? It makes no sense to me. It's like they're always trying to sell you something that you've been using for most of your life, except now it costs more because you get this much amount of benefit, but we still don't know if it's a true benefit. We have no idea, right? So, but that's cool. I like the fact that your unit has the option of doing it instead of now you don't have to go out and buy these hydrogen tabs. So you and I could keep talking for 10 more hours. I love this stuff. So, but this is the part of the show where we call the shameless plug segment, which is I want you to share with the audience where people can find you, how they can connect with you, because not only are you a CEO of a fantastic water company, but you are becoming the knowledge expert in this field, which is we need more people like you to do this. So you're getting out there more on platforms, you're getting the message out there, which I love. So first of all, tell people where they can find information about your company. Tell us where they can find you, and tell us about some of the exciting, maybe technologies on the horizon you guys are going to be outlining to the public.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, my name is Eric Kurbanov, and I'm a CEO and founder of RKIN Water Systems. It's RKIN.
Hmm.
And you can find us at rkin.com and check out all our products. Take a look what we have to offer. We have countertop systems, and they are specifically designed for people that are potentially renting or kind of don't want to make this permanent decisions of putting the water system under the sink. Maybe they think about they're going to sell the house in the near future or et cetera, et cetera. So countertop water systems for renters and people that don't want to make permanent decision. Then we also have drinking water systems that go under the sink. And
Hmm.
that's a preferred option if you do own your own home because it makes the water so seamless. You just have
Hmm.
extra separate faucet. You open it, you fill up your glass of water, bottled water, or any other container, and you're done. You don't have to think about refilling it and et cetera, et cetera. Everything happens
Yeah.
automatically. So
Yeah.
at the same time, we also have whole home water systems as well. And those are a little bit more complex in decision making. For example, for water system, with us, all you have to decide, okay, I have, a larger family, or maybe I'm renting and I have only one or two systems here. One of them has hot, cold, um, hydrogen, which you may or may not use. We did build in a switch to it so you can easily turn it off as well.
Hmm.
Or you may be looking for a more simpler option that just water purification only. So that's the decision making. But if you're looking to filter the water on for your entire home, there are quite a few variables. The first, we need to figure out what's in the water, meaning
Hmm.
looking at the reports. Two, we have to figure out what's important to you when it comes to your whole home filtration. And then three, properly size the system to your household. We see it a lot. Sometimes customers call us and like, hey, I've been looking at this water filter, and it's only about this big, like the size of this water bottle here.
Yeah.
Will it get the job done? Or like, oh, how big is your home? Well, we got 5 people full time and 3 full bathrooms. Then the
Probably not.
answer is not for what you're looking to get done. So it can
Yeah.
get, the decision making for whole home water system can get a little bit complex. So
Yeah.
my job and everyone on our team is to take a look at each person's individual situation, figure out the best option, and then provide the education to our customers.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is, we are on Instagram. We do
Hmm.
have our own company page, which is
Yeah.
RKIN /US, I believe. And I also have my own personal Instagram page, which is at Eric, ERIC 007, which is Eric 007. Message me report, and I will send you a water quality report in your area so you'll know exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So what we're gonna do for the audience is we're gonna, when this podcast comes out after editing, is we're gonna include your website, your Instagram handle, the water company Instagram handle, so people can reach out to you directly. That's an amazing offer. So we appreciate that. And then talk to us about the future of the company as there's some exciting new products coming out that you guys are working with. What can we expect down the road as far as water technology?
Carbon nanotubes.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm joking. I'm
Wow.
joking.
I was like, you got me excited. I know what he's talking about, but I don't know how it relates to water, but that's okay.
Yeah. So the carbon nanotube filtration is probably sometimes in the future.
Uh-huh.
Uh, However, it's not anywhere close. And
Right.
right now, the best that we have, and it's been and water treatment industry, because we kind of have to obey the chemistry and physics laws, and it's in this nature, it moves very, very slow. So there
Hmm.
have to be big jumps in science
Yeah.
for for us to have this like breakthrough where you do have a filter this size, you can put it on your whole house, and
Yeah.
it does a wonderful job in filtration, but not yet, and not today, unfortunately. There are some breakthroughs happening with membrane technology
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
manufacturing for reverse osmosis systems, where it's getting simpler and easier to maintain as far as the filters are concerned, and the costs are coming down. When we look at the trend over 20, 30 years. So one example for the water treatment technology moving slow is water softeners, as
Hmm.
we know them now. They've been around more than 100 years, and
Yeah.
the some of the core principles have not changed. So the newer technology to kind of help on a water softener side is saltless systems, We do
Mm.
have them. They do help with preventing hardness buildup, but you don't get the benefit of soft water throughout your
Mm.
entire home.
Got it.
So your plumbing and pipes will be protected. That's a fairly new tech. Again, we're talking 15, 20 years, fairly new
Yeah, I
in
get it.
water treatment. Um, yes, so that's probably the most exciting breakthrough so far. There's some carbon filtration that on a whole home side, we do have one system that's just fantastic, and it goes beyond just simple filtration for as a carbon filters would,
Hmm.
and it does forever chemicals, it does lead, and it's just a wonderful system that's been also third party tested for those claims. So carbon nanotubes, but not today, maybe
Not
not
today.
next year.
Yeah, no, it's very cool, very cool. And then last question would be, you guys serve the Fort Myers area, but does your company serve the state of Florida, the entire United States? What's your customer base?
So we are online first. So we
Hmm.
do ship our products anywhere in continental US.
Hmm.
Countertop systems, we even ship those internationally as well. So
Nice.
as far as installation and local service, we can provide it in Lee and Collier County of Florida only in-house. We
Hmm.
install it, we come out to your home. However, if you're outside of our service area, in some cases we have worked with local installers and we can recommend somebody in your area if you get in touch with us to install our system.
So when I got your tabletop system, and he was kind enough to send us the fancy model with that has all the Wi-Fi technology, and I was like, this is cool. Anything with Wi-Fi, I'm pretty much going to get anyways. I like it, right? So my refrigerator, I could connect to Wi-Fi. It's crazy, but it looked daunting when I opened it. But then setting it up was great. It was easy. Instructions are very easy to follow. So I'm going to post that video, the unboxing video of opening it up and using and testing it so everybody could see it on social media and YouTube channel. But Eric, listen, it was an absolute pleasure speaking with you, getting to know you, getting to know your company. And I love your humble beginnings to where you are now. So we continue to wish you much success as you guys are doing great. And thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, folks. So you can find Eric and his company off of our website at myrecipeforwellness.com. His logo is on there under our preferred vendors list. So click on the logo, it goes straight to his website. We've already uploaded that. This podcast will air next week. And for our TV audience, we are right now in season 3, and we just finished Crystal Beach, Texas, heading off to Virginia, North Carolina. Then we got Germany. Then we've got Greece. So it's going to be an ambitious season. We can't wait to keep it going. And then season 1 of our show is going to make our debut on NBC Sports Q4 of this year. We're so excited. We'll be between primetime sporting events, so that's a big one for us. Then we'll be on primetime TV moving forward. Streaming channels, we're going to be launching on 3 new ones at the end of this month. We're already on one right now, so we're going to get some new launches throughout the year. So you guys are going to get tired of us because we got some new launches coming every single month for the rest of the year. So sorry, but not sorry. But that being said, follow us on social media. Thank you again, Eric. And then can't wait for another episode of our podcast based on our TV show, Recipe for Wellness. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you.